Hi, Anna, running for Congress, California 32, and
I'm Reza Safarnejad, running for Governor of California.
so we're here in one of the worst hit districts in Malibu. Reza, your house is not your home is not too far from here,
Right.
and all around you are there's no houses here anymore, and it's awful. And the rebuild hasn't happened yet. What have you noticed in the neighborhood that's really...
Out of 550 homes, I would say probably about 500 are gone or severely damaged.
Mm-hmm.
And most of my neighbors who said, we'll never sell, they can't get permits. So they've given up, already sold. And I would say half of the lots are already gone. And as you can see, nothing is built, nothing is done. We get politicians who line up in front of one existing house and take photos and claim it's being rebuilt.
Right. I know they have started issuing permits, but one of the things that's been happening is, again, they're being forced to sell their property at way below market rates. Property developers are coming in, swooping them up. They have no regard for the charm of Malibu and the history of Malibu and its iconic status, not only in America and in the world. And if they build a set of small mini high-rises, they're not too concerned about that. But the charm of Malibu is historic, and I think it's so important to preserve that.
Absolutely. And as you met some of my neighbors, these are all working people. They're not some rich people who, invested in this. And so once they're gone, that neighborhood feeling is gone with them, and it's not coming back.
Right. My hometown was destroyed by earthquakes, one of the worst per capita in the world at the time. And yes, there will be a transition in the neighborhood, but it's up to the town planners, the federal, local and state and coastal commission to not only modernize, and definitely in terms of tools and equipment for the firefighters, but also preserve some of that iconic status that makes Malibu what it is, like preserve that surf wave. It's a surf town, it really, really is. And when you have local or state authorities just selling to the nearest bidder, maybe to just try and show some kinds of progress, that's not healthy either.
No, and this is where we're all coming in, neighborhood people, city people, running for Congress, governor, town council, whatever we can, because we're realizing there's no plan, there's no city plan, there's no county plan, there's no government plan. So we want to force that, and we want to work on this and return Malibu, return Palisades, return Altadena, everywhere in California to what it used to be.
Yeah, well, there will be change because I've seen that, and the population may change a little bit, but it can be rebuilt, and it can be rebuilt better than before, but without losing its intrinsic nature. I think that's what's really, really important. It is taking time. It can take up to 10 years in this kind of disaster zone, but the progress with permitting, the same happened in my hometown. The government took over the quake. They tried to get buildings cheaply. The insurance company, it was the largest insurance claim of the time. I think it was Warren Buffett. Everyone was mostly insured through Berkshire Hathaway or subsidiaries of Berkshire Hathaway. It was the largest insurance claim in history. They ran out of money really fast, which is what has happened in these districts, Altadena, Malibu, and the Palisades. And guess what? There are people who are demanding answers from Governor Newsom. Where has all the money disappeared? Whether it be the fire relief charity money, but all the money that was set aside to help with the California wildfires. And I understand last week he vetoed a bill in state assembly or somewhere in the California state that would have made sure that he and others were accountable about where these missing funds were to fix these districts.
And equally important is the lack of the next governor, next Congress, next whoever it is, to make sure these things are happening, they're happening correctly, and they're happening in favor of people, not corporations, not investors, not their donors. And this is where we want to see real change in the government, people who can work for us and make California better everywhere, not just in Palisades and Altadena, but everywhere in California.
Yeah, so with my voice in Congress, which is a federal seat, I will be stroppy. I will get things done. I've proven I was one of the leaders in my hometown with one of the charities that got stuck in and worked with local, and we don't have states, but with local and all the charities, the main charities, and got things done. Yes, I am a US citizen, and I know you'll hold people accountable, Reza, as well.
Absolutely. This is my neighborhood. And whoever was in charge of taking care of the fire prevention, all the people who did nothing, they need to be held accountable. And equally important, we need a government that's going to always put people first and think about what's good for California, and not be on their next podcast and not be on their next show or whatever adventure they're going on.
We really have to put people first and above party, especially in crisis zones. And with the diminishing of FEMA, we have to create, and I've already lobbied the administration, and it doesn't matter who's in power, this has to be done, whether it's Democrats or Republicans. We have to lobby to make sure that there is money and funding available, and legislation to release that funding and create that funding and release it for disaster relief zones, because these are not going to stop, especially with climate change. And there's so much cleanup still to be done in this district. There is sludge on the bottom of the floor. I'm working with a coalition partner on that, and the city of Malibu, to try and clean up the ocean floor all the way through, whether it's toxic land or cleanup. What's really struck me about this district is when there's a large earthquake zone, Reza, we had large cleanup crews come in from all over the world, large companies like Ceres and all sort that are specialized in coming in and cleaning up, taking down buildings that are dangerous and everything like that. That has not happened in this zone. It's utterly extraordinary. I don't know what the governor was thinking or the mayor was thinking to absolutely put nothing in effect, no structure to create a guide to make sure that these districts were cleaned up properly of industrial waste. And I don't like to use the term industrial waste, but we're talking homes that are half down with toxins and everything like that. Most disaster zones have a cleanup plan. I don't know what happened here. It was completely...
There's none. And I can tell you, I've lived here for years now, and the ocean has never been this dirty. We always used to see whales and dolphins, and we don't see them because the water is so toxic. And for all the environmentalist talk and pro-environmentalism that we hear from our government, we've seen nothing. And Malibu, that used to be one of the cleanest beaches in California, has turned into a toxic wasteland right now.
And we've got to clean it up. So we're fighting really, really hard for the people, the homeowners, and everyone in this state, and everyone in America who's going to go through or has already been through a disaster zone. The government has to be held accountable at every level, whether it's federal, state, or local.
Absolutely. And having openness and being able to present intelligent plans for all of these things to the public, having feedback from the public is super important.
Well, that was one thing I was going to mention. In New Zealand, the first thing we did was we opened everything to every single architect, every single town planner, and every single person. And we held big town hall meetings, held in big structures, and the architects would all show their plans and their ideas, and the town planners would speak and show their ideas until there was a consensus reached about how to develop after a quake zone. It was really fascinating. I haven't seen that happen here at all.
No, you're absolutely right. We've seen very little planning before, which is what created the whole disaster. We saw very little action after, and still not existent.
Right. So we're going forward and holding people accountable. So vote for Reza
and Anna,
and donate to our campaigns, contribute, volunteer. The primary is on June the 3rd.
Yes, please don't forget, June 2nd.
June 2nd. Yes. Have your say, have your voice. Look, your vote really does make a difference. Do not let big money and dirty lobbyists win this campaign. Get to know your candidates, and we hope this helps in getting to know your candidates. Come to our website. What is your website?
RezaForCalifornia.com.
And mine's wildingforcongress.com, WILDING for Congress.com. The primary is critical. It is absolutely critical. You don't want to end up with two candidates you don't like in November. You want to vote in the primary.
Or keep the same people going who didn't do anything.